And for those that have not played with women, or they've been in situations where maybe a woman played with them and they were kind of into it and they realized, oh my gosh, I actually really love being with women, but I've never actually gone down on another woman, today's conversation is for you. Welcome to the Open Bedroom Podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer Kalo. Welcome to conversations about open relationships, online dating, conscious uncoupling, and creating the relationship that truly aligns for you. So today's topic is what it's like to have girl-on-girl sex. So what I'm finding is in my open relationship space that I'm in, most of the women are bisexual, bi-curious, or bi-situational, meaning at some point they either have played with women or are interested in playing with women. And for those that have not played with women, or they've been in situations where maybe a woman played with them and they were kind of into it and they realized, oh my gosh, I actually really love being with women, but I've never actually gone down on another woman, today's conversation is for you. If you're a man who maybe isn't just very sophisticated yet in your sexual emotional intelligence, in your sexuality, this conversation is also for you. But mostly it's for people that are curious about what it's like to be with another woman. So I'll be phrasing this in a way that, of course, comes from my own experience. So I thought, let's just start with some story time. So 2 years ago, I was married and we decided to open up our relationship. And I've always been attracted to women, like my whole life. I remember being maybe kindergarten, first, second grade age. And I went to an after-school care program where they had these huge monster truck tires cut in half on our playground. And we were tiny, so these things felt huge. And they're hollow on the inside. If you can imagine a tire, the inside is hollow. And my friend Sarah and I would go in and press our little bodies into the shape of half of a tire, so a fourth of a tire. And we realized we could press our little bodies in and no one could see us. And sometimes we would kiss. So I remember the first time she kissed me. Sarah had long red hair. And as many of you know, I have 2 redheaded partners. I love red hair. And it's interesting the imprinting that happens when you are really young that then goes, God, redheads are really sexy. I love redheads. So after my experience kissing Sarah on the playground, I remember she had gum, so her mouth tasted like gum. I thought that was really yummy and it felt really good in my body when I kissed her. And I just kind of tucked it away. As a teenager, I didn't go after women. I knew I wanted to marry a man. I knew I wanted to be in a long-term partnership with a man. I wanted to have children. So I never really pursued the whole female thing. And then towards the end of my marriage with husband number 2, when we opened up our relationship, I thought, this is the perfect opportunity to see if I'm actually bisexual. I'm going to go for it. So I did. So I got on Tinder and my dating profile said, I'm totally open to experiencing everything. I want to experience all of it. And I'm really curious about being with a woman. So I connected with a woman. I will not say her name, but I will say she is beautiful and tall and curvy. And I'm very much drawn to women that look similarly to me, that are lots of curves. I like lots of curves. I like curvy ladies. So she had a much more experience than me. Her and her husband had been open for a while and they were seeing women. And so they were playing with women together. She had kind of like a hall pass to play with women on her own. And so her and I started seeing each other. And it started out with a yoga class. I invited her to a yoga class and we did yoga together. And then I remember we talked for a little bit in her van before she left. She's a mom. And she was like, "Can I kiss you?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh." And I told her about my experience with Sarah when I was a little girl. And I was like, "I'm so curious to see if I still feel a zing, from another woman." And she's like, "Let's find out, y'all." Oh my God, there was a lot of zinging happening. And I left with my pussy just throbbing and then went home to Scott, which was really fun. Actually, that's not true. Went home to my ex-husband, Derek. And I told him about the experience. And he was like, "Interesting. Like, keep exploring, see what happens." So I invited her out again and I was like, "Let's go have dinner this time." So we sat across from each other and we had dinner, and we still to this day laugh that we are like the worst lesbians ever, because we're not lesbians, but you get what I mean. Because we just talked about how much we loved cock the entire time. And we just laughed. And it was interesting because that was the point where I realized I don't think I could just be with women. I love being with women, but I really want to have a guy in my life. I love having that masculine energy. I love penis, dick, cock, whatever you want to call it. And it's more like having a woman in my life is a beautiful addition to that. But I didn't just want that, and neither did she. So it was wonderful. So we started to plan our first night together. And one night my husband had, I don't think he might have been on a date, because I remember he was coming back home. So he must have been out with another woman. And I remember saying like, "Hey, the house is totally open and available until midnight," whatever the time was that I knew he was coming back. And I said, "Do you want to come over tonight?" And she was like, "I'm at work. I'm at work and I'm gonna need to take a shower, but okay, let's do this." And I'm like, "Okay." So y'all, when I get ready for a sex date, like, the house is already pretty clean all the time. Thankfully, I have help, and so the cleaning crews come and pretty often. So the house is already pretty ready. But like, I like candles, I have music, I wear lingerie, I took a shower, I ladyscaped, like I was fucking ready for her when she got here. And the bed was all made and it was all beautiful, it smelled great, everything did. And she came over, took a shower, like she said she was going. I was like, "Just here's my shower, go for it. Do whatever you need to do, borrow whatever you want to borrow. Use whatever you want to use." And then she got into bed and she, of course, like didn't have a whole get up on because she came from work, but I did. So she was admiring I had this pretty, I think I wore a black bodysuit that night. So I was wearing some lingerie and it was so hilarious. Like, I was really nervous, and it was more like we kind of best friend chatted for like the first 20, 30 minutes. And finally she looks at me and she's like, "Okay, that's enough talking. Are you ready?" And I was like, "Yep, am. Okay. So what do we do now?" And so she started kissing me and I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, I remember this part. I like this part." And then she starts making her way down my body and it feels so good. I'm a little quiet because my kids are here today and they're kind of like on the other side of my door. So I don't want to be screaming this. So that's why I'm a little quiet today. So she starts making her way down my body and she stops before she gets to my pussy and she looks up at me and she says, "Is it okay if I go down on you?" And I'm like, "Uh-huh. Yeah, yes, please." And it's wonderful. She's licking me and using her fingers in me. She asked before she penetrated me with her fingers. She gave me multiple orgasms. She sculpted her way back up my body, kissed me with her lips where I could taste myself, and it was so hot, so hot. And then I knew it's my turn. I remember being in absolute awe of how a woman's body feels. So when you have sex with men, you realize their bodies are firm. There's muscle right underneath the skin. They feel so differently than women. They're rugged, they're strong. Having sex with a woman is soft, curvy, sumptuous, like delectable. I don't even know all the words to insert here, but it's a completely different experience. Women feel different physically, like you touch them and we're a lot softer than guys are. And our breasts, oh my God. I remember when I touched her for the first time, her breasts, I was just like, oh my God, they're so soft and they're so delicious. Nipples. Oh my God, nipples are so great. And like the curve of her breasts, like right on the bottom and the sides, I was just like, oh, like I just want to like eat it all up. And so I was making my way down her body and over her tummy and down to her pussy. And I try to kind of emulate what she was doing with me. So I used my tongue, I used my fingers, I used more fingers and went inside of her. And what I learned was both her and I are very expressive in bed. So we are giving feedback as well as even commands. Like at one point, she was like, slower, faster, firmer. I want another finger inside of me. She was very good at telling me what she needed. And I was so grateful. So, one side part to this is I want to say, don't be afraid to ask for what you want in bed. Don't be afraid to say, I really actually don't like that, but I love this thing you were doing just a minute ago. Go do that again. Now, don't stop till I come. You are allowed to express your desires and your needs. And trust me when I say that your partner wants your feedback. So on the other side, when I'm going down on a woman, I want you to tell me what you want. I don't want to feel stuck. I don't want to feel like you're not enjoying it. I want to know. So she was very good with giving me a little to the left, a little to the right, harder, firmer. No, you're not hurting me more. It was wonderful. I gave her a few orgasms. Felt pretty good about that, considering it was my first time. And then when we were done, because we could have gone forever, like women can fuck forever, and it's really fun to just keep going and going and going, and eventually you're either hungry, you have to pee, or you pass out. So it was just so much fun. And I hugged her. I think I kissed her on the way out, and she went home, and that was that. I think that was the one and only time her and I had sex together. And after that, we kind of moved more into just being friends. Our dynamics shifted. She found a partner. She got divorced. She found another partner. And I think they date women together. She also dates some guys. So like our dynamics just aren't the same anymore. So then I moved on to other women. And I'm not going to tell you about every single experience, but here's what I've found with girl on girl sex. Number one, women's bodies feel completely different than men's bodies. It's a completely different experience. Number two, every woman's vagina and vulva and clitoris are different. They're all different. And you have to learn with each one of them how they want to be stroked, how they want to be licked, how they want to be fingered, if they even want anything inside them, how much penetration they want. So one of the things I'm learning with our girlfriend when her and I play together is we both love cock. And when there's not one available, because we play together, We use dildos, and I have this, I wish I had it so I could show y'all. I have this, I think it's more 8-inch, but it says 6-inch. I don't know. We'll call it 6-inch. It's a 6-inch pink, pretty girthy dildo that kind of has that soft gummy feel. Like it's not like blah, 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 but it moves a little bit and it feels pretty real. And her and I love to play with that together. That feeling of fullness is so yummy. And then you have room for your mouth to go down, your fingers. We use lots and lots of coconut oil as lube. There's so much yummy girl on girl sex that you can do because you're not limited to just using your penis if you are a guy, right? Like you have, or if you are male presenting, you have so many options. So we play with all of them. I find with women, they're more, I don't know how to describe this. They move differently than men do. So one of my girlfriends in particular kind of slithers like a snake. She's much smaller than me, and she is just very nimble, and she takes her body and will kind of slither all over me and put her breasts all over me. It's so fucking yummy. And she just uses her whole body in like a very tantric way. I've never had a dude do that to me. It might be a little weird. I don't know. So the whole overall experience is different. Okay, number 4, if we talk about responsive desire or any kind of desire, whether you're slowly building it or you have kind of this immediate release of desire, and the way that you present what you are liking and enjoying during sex, I find that men are much more silent and harder to read, where women's bodies give you the signs. It's kind of like you're going on a treasure hunt and you just have to pay attention. So, for example, when I first start going down on a woman, I always use my tongue first. That's not true. I always use my hands first, and I'm not inserting anything until she's soaking wet and ready, and I can tell she's ready. So typically, let me see, do I have, yeah, I want to show you. Hold on a second. Okay. So we have our vulva, and I might first, because I'm coming usually from above, I might first just kind of touch the outer lips. So I'm touching and I'm playing and I'm just stroking. And then I start to go more inside. I might start to play with the clit a little bit. I might start to pull the hood back some and do something like this. As she starts to grind her pelvis on me a little bit, I kind of like to use my palm. So we're going to maneuver here. So I might apply pressure, and I don't know if you can see, but I'm kind of doing like a rocking motion and applying pressure overall, and that feels really good. So imagine she's grinding towards you. And then you can start to slip a little bit in. I don't know how you can see the hole. Let me take the clitoris out of here for a minute. There you go. You can see better. So if these are her holes, I might just start to, I really can't move my hand in that direction, but I might just start to lightly finger her until she's ready for more. And then it's really this direction. Then you can start adding more. One thing that I learned from Kenneth Play too is about stacking the fingers when you enter. Some of my partners are built much tighter than others. Like their entire vagina internally, the structure is just much smaller. And so stacking makes things a lot less painful and feel more delicious as you're sliding in for the first time. So you can do that by stacking them, entering in. Fuck, I'm backwards again. stacking and going in. There we go. There's that side. And then you can do come hither motions. You can go more upward. You can go this way. And then again, depending on how her vagina is built inside, she may have more access. Let's see, this way, where my pelvis is tilted. So instead of it just going up, it's kind of tilted more like this way. And then you can keep stacking more in. There we go. If you want to do more. Let's put our little clitoris back in here. So I like to do all of this for like 30, 45 minutes. I'm teasing, I'm licking all around the outside. I'm licking here as I find my tongue isn't strong enough to stroke the way this needs to stroke in order to get off. I might use my fingers. If I'm facing this direction, I love to use my thumb like this. You can get pretty fast and you can go a long time with your thumb. I also like to kind of not pinching might hurt, but kind of slide my fingers like this over the clit. That feels really, really yummy. This motion is probably one of my favorites. You can also go this way. There's just so much that you can do. So I like options and I like to read her body. And what's interesting is if you pay attention to breathing, moaning, words, if she's available for that, the way her body is grinding against you, and you can give her permission to grind. When I start to feel my partner start to move her pelvis, I move like crazy. I'm like, you don't even have to do anything. Just do this and I'll move on you, you know? I like to give permission, like, yes, grind on me. Like, yes, show me how you want it. And giving her permission allows her to show you. I am very much in favor of using my fingers on my clit when I have penetration with a man or with a dildo. I don't get off very well vaginally unless I've already came a bunch and I'm on fire and alert and tingly, and usually that's with Scott. So you can also give permission to touch, like while I'm using this dildo on you or while I'm inserting this anal plug in you, you have permission to play with your clit. That's really hot. That would be a really hot thing to say. So I guess I would say my last and favorite thing about girl on girl sex is you can go as long as you fucking want. I had a massage therapist say, we went 8 hours one time. We stopped for a shower or two, a charcuterie board, and hydration. But outside of that, we just kept going. And I love that the female body can have so many orgasms. One of my favorite things to do is play an orgasm game, especially with a new partner. And we just had this the other day where I said, what's the top number of orgasms you've ever had in just one setting? And she said 12. And I was like, oh, we got this. We got high five. We got this. And I think she left, 15, 16, 17, and we totally could have done a lot more. It was just we were running out of time and it was like 1 a.m. at this point. So have an orgasm game. Another tip would be women, as you are starting to play with other women, I want to recommend that you have some one-on-one sessions without your guy present. Here's why. I have found when Scott is having a threesome with me and another woman, that the cock tends to rule the show, meaning when it's hard, you better jump on it. You better insert it. You don't want to waste a lovely hard on. So if I want to spend 20, 30, 40 minutes going down on a woman and he's over here hard and he wants to be inside of her, but my mouth is on her, there's a problem, right? It's too hard. So I think as you're getting to learn each other's bodies, create space so that you can just explore. I also want to say that when you're playing one-on-one, there's no pressure of the third partner and you having to worry, are they okay? Do they need anything? Like, do they need something from me? Just your energy just becomes the two of you. And again, give yourself lots and lots of time to explore. I'm talking hours. So like plan on a 6 o'clock date, maybe have like a charcuterie board or something really light to eat because you don't want to have eaten steak and drink wine and then try to have sex. It's an uncomfortable experience. And then go play. Give yourself permission to just explore and tell the other person, I am here as long as you need me to be here. If it's going to take you 2 hours to come and that's our mission for tonight and you want that, I'm fucking here for it. And bring some toys. Bring a vibrator, bring a dildo, bring lots and lots of lube, bring handcuffs and face, like blind, the face mask, eye mask things. If you have more BDSM tools and you want to play with that, bring that. But like, be ready in multiple ways outside of just your tongue and your fingers to please someone, and then have fun. If you've been with a partner for a little while and you know that both of you are pretty orgasmic, make a fun game out of it. Like today, let's get to a total count of 80. My total max count in one setting with me and two other people, one being Scott and one being a woman that we were seeing, was 100. 100. And that was over the course of an evening and the next morning. And we just made a game out of it. We made it fun so that every time he got hard again, we weren't like, oh my God, again. We were like, sweet. Well, we're just at number 75, so we better get at it. What are we going to do with this? So just have fun with each other. Hey there. Did you know that I do online coaching? Yes, I do online coaching in the sex and relationship space. Some of the topics that are near and dear to my heart are open relationships. So that includes polyamory, swinging, or what we call the lifestyle. I also love conversations around online dating. We're talking Bumble, Tinder, Field, and more. And then the last thing that's really passionate and close to my heart is conscious uncoupling. That means we get to break up with people with love and respect, with dignity and hope. We get to create a life for our children that gets to be a little bit different. We can do things better than we have in the past. So if any of these topics sound interesting to you and you'd love to get some coaching from me, check out the link in the show notes or the link in my bio for more information on Coaching with Jen.